people?
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Well, I love the smell of crazy in the morning. And this morning, I got a full dose with my coffee from your friends at Planned Parenthood.
Virginity. What is it? And what's the big deal about losing it? Let me cut to the chase. Virginity is a completely made-up concept. It's a term that was created simply to control and shame people, mainly women. A virgin is someone who's never had sex, but it's not as simple as it seems. For one thing, medically, virginity isn't a real thing. In some cultures, people place a lot of importance on a thin, fleshy tissue located at the opening of your vagina as a marker of virginity. But the status of your doesn't actually mean anything. That's because having is not the only way a can stretch open. It can happen by putting something in your like a tampon or a finger, riding a bike, or doing sports. So you can't tell if someone's had by the way their hymen looks or feels. Another reason the idea of virginity is complete nonsense is that means different things to different people. Generally speaking, society tends to define in a very narrow way, penetration into. But where does that definition leave queer people? Or folks who can't or don't have
Virginity is not a myth, it's a noun. It's a description that describes the state of never having had sexual intercourse. The question that is suspiciously ignored by Planned Parenthood is why did we need a word that marks the time before a person has had sexual intercourse? The answer is simple, because civilized societies understand the value of protecting the vulnerable, the young, the cognitively challenged, the developmentally delayed, or the emotionally immature are often incapable of knowing or choosing when it is appropriate to have sexual intercourse. This is a particular concern for women. Most societies have an interest in women remaining virgins until the appropriate time, and women who did not keep themselves chaste were, in fact, shamed. Not because the patriarchy desired to keep women sexually repressed, but rather because virginity served an important societal function. You see, long before Maury Povich was handing out DNA tests like Tic Tacs, a woman's virginity was the primary way to establish the paternity of the father. You have to understand that for most of human history, life expectancy was low, and the environment was harsh and unforgiving. To optimize the chances for survival, men knew that they were best suited to raise children who shared their genetic and biological equipment. Having as many children as possible was necessary to survive, so knowing who is the father of a child was critically important. Restraints around when it is appropriate to lose one's virginity was more about creating a cohesive, functioning community than arbitrarily shaming women. In this video, Planned Parenthood is trying to obscure the purpose of virginity. The graphic and lengthy discussion about body parts is just a way to hide their campaign to remove all of the cultural, religious, and societal guardrails around when and with whom to have sexual intercourse. And who benefits if all the guardrails are removed? Perverts. Perverts who have a sick desire to eliminate the consensus that women and children should be protected, so that they can easily convince them that they chose to be misused in the most contemptible way. Beware of those who advise you to throw away thousands of years of wisdom. They could be setting a sinister trap for you to provide cover for pedophiles, child molesters, and the R word, for those who want to violate women and children at will, free from social condemnation or legal retribution. Planned Parenthood, this is despicable.